Hey, what's going on? You know who it is, you know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, man, on my way to the job. So I thought I'd knock out a stream right quick. Well, I'm gonna stop by Southland Mall right quick. Grab me a t-shirt or something for Vegas. But nevertheless, okay, Floyd is doing it again. Pandering, saying this and saying that, but what is he doing to, help establish this? Now, over the years, Floyd has gave Terrence Crawford high praise. Floyd has said that he believes that Terrence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. Now, when it comes to Floyd, people love him, hate him, unless he says something that they like. At the end of the day, I've been going through this shit, trying to cover Floyd. Where Floyd, he just says stuff and does stuff sometimes that, to a certain degree, completely turns you off to him, and it makes you not want to have nothing to do with him, because he's done this too many times. At the end of the day, as great a fighter Floyd will always be, he's done a lot of things to compromise himself and put his reputation at risk. And that's just fact. Like I said, this event he got coming up won't take no parts in it. But he said something, that I do agree with as far as that goes, but it still doesn't take away the fact that I'm not going to criticize Floyd for some of the other bullshit that he's done. Now, he says he believes Terrence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. I believe that. I don't care about Canelo fans thinking I'm supposed to say Canelo. Like I said, I gives two fucks about them. I don't care about Lomachenko fans thinking that he's the best fighter on the planet, which he never was. Same thing, with people on the other side of the fence. Street, hospital, whatever you want to call it, the corner. I do think Terrence Crawford is the best fighter on the planet. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Like I said, at the end of the day, well, here's the thing. If that's the case, Floyd, why won't you and Al Heyman, let him fight some of y'all fighters on that roster? Now, Floyd went on record about 3 years ago saying, I think in 2018, saying that they wasn't ready to make Terrence Crawford versus, Errol Spence. I mean, he said that out of his own mouth. He said, me and Al not ready to make that fight. Well, they don't seem to want to make any fight with Bob Arum. And that's just the case. I listened to the Sean Porter interview, and Sean Porter, to me, he was talking in code, but I already knew who he was referring to. I already know who he was referring to as in who didn't want to make that fight and who's blocking that fight. The same guy that didn't block a lot of fights from happening. For real. But my thing is, once again, Floyd, why won't you give Terrence Crawford the opportunity to prove it? Why won't you let him fight any of your fighters? He's called out the Keith Thurmans. He's called out all those guys. But yet, y'all won't sign a contract. And we already know Floyd has an issue with Bob Arum. And so does Al Heyman. So, in other words, that prevents the best fights from getting made. And like I said before, it's no guarantee that if Terrence Crawford signs with the PBC that he's still gonna get those fights. So when I hear people say that stupid shit, talking like they part of some kind of gang, that just goes to show you you're not a realist, that you a fanboy. So that's my thing with Floyd. If you think Bud is the best, well, why don't you let him fight the best fighters? But that's what you have going on now. Once again, promotional companies don't want to make outside fights because they fear that their fighter might lose. Which, my thing is, you win some, you lose some. but you live to fight another day. As long as you continue to want to fight professionally. But that's what we have going on with Floyd. Like, to me, Floyd sound like he be pandering sometimes. Well, like I said, Floyd, let's get these fights made. Let's see how Terrence Crawford does against Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter versus Errol Spence, Jamal James, some other guys like that. You got plenty of guys you can throw them in the ring with. So, you know, at the end of the day, to me, it's cap. And it really is. You know, it sounds good, Floyd, but at the end of the day, it's cap, because you ain't giving Terrence Crawford a chance to prove that he's the best fighter in the world. And then you hear these PBC nut huggers that come on here talking out the side of their ass. Don't know what the fuck they talking about. So my thing is to Floyd, let's prove it. Let's get some of these fights made. Let's do it for the sake of boxing. Put your ego to the side. For real, you and Al Heyman, put y'all egos to the side. Put y'all emotions to the side. You know, for real. The best way to get even with Bob Arum, if you felt he did some shit to y'all, is you put y'all best fighters in the ring with their best fighters, and you beat their ass. That's it, that's all. It's that simple. But y'all making it that difficult. Stop being selfish. Make the best fights happen. It's your boy Town Biz. I'm out.